they really wanted to explore the relationship of Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. And, some people might be a little bit out of date with this, but hell, these two are damn funny.
Did they do all their movies together?
Not a ton of them, but their best movies, out of everybody in the cast, everybody in, all of them, they did over 300 films, everybody. So, but Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, I think, did around 10 of them. Some of their movies are, you can't find them anymore. Because some of them were really weird B movies from the 50s. And, we're going to be talking about others like Odd Couple in a few weeks, which is probably going to be with you and I. It's probably going to be a lot of chatter there. Whether because just the general thing, that story is so damn funny.
I feel like my impression of that one would probably be affected maybe by comparing it to the show, because I've seen the show but not the movie.
Yeah.
I mean the TV show, not the stage show.
Several TV. I've seen that and seen almost every version of it. I just love the damn story. It's so funny.
Yeah, we got a blizzard going on, so it's just us two.
Yeah, just the two of us.
Might sound different.
Yeah, Jocelyn and Dan weren't able to join us on this one, but we'll
I think I have a cold, so I'll probably sound weird, too.
Yeah, no worries about that, but I'm Nick.
I'm Kaz.
So, Grumpy Old Men, 1993 movie, film written by Mark Steven Johnson, starring Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, and Margaret Burgess Meredith in his final role. Ozzie Davis, Buck Henry, Daryl Hannah, and Kevin Pollak. This one, I remember this being damn funny. And there are stuff that's really funny, especially the way Walter Matthau says putz. Which is such an older term, an older term, older thought, everything is just funny in general. But I remember watching this with my grandparents and laughing the whole way through. I think maybe more or less because they were laughing. So
you had a live laugh track.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. What were your thoughts on this one?
It was fine. I mean, at first I'm like, oh look, it's the Manic Pixie Dream, middle-aged lady?
Yeah. And Margaret, yeah.
But then after a while, it seems less about her being wacky and more, the friendship of these two guys who both love her.
And the friendship is in really high quotes there.
Frenemies?
Yeah,
rivals.
Yeah. Now, I looked up some of the ages in general here. I'm just trying to find it again, but Burgess Meredith, was 93 at this time, and he had to, his Alzheimer's was really, really getting him quite a bit, and he had to be coached a lot through his roles, which I think is why his character's so one-note.
Yeah, the basic running joke is, old guy jokes about sex. He's a pervert, which you might not expect from a 90-something-year-old.
I thought that was really funny, though, but considering, the Golden Girls-esque era, that you could kind of fit right along with it, but it's just where it's there.
It's how many lewd things can you say before it gets kind of repetitive?
Yeah. Well, at least he didn't say anything in front of kids. Although I gotta admit, the ad-lib / blooper reel at the end is damn funny with him. Just to say more of it, Joss and Dan, I know you guys are listening to this. Go look that up. It's damn funny. It's damn funny. So, Grumpy Old Men, this...
It's about grumpy old men. And it's a love triangle.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it's the Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, they were, though their characters clashed constantly, they were best friends, through most of their life. Yeah, they were really best friends, and they really tried to do as much as they possibly can. Where it's 1993, these two are really genuinely at the end of their life. Jack Lemmon dying in 2001 and Walter Matthau dying in 2000.
Mm.
Walter Matthau dying at 79 and Jack Lemmon was close to 80. And the films in general that we know of that they're all together, The Odd Couple 1 and 2, Grumpy Old Men and Grumpier Old Men, a movie in 1966 called The Fortune Cookie, The Front Page, Buddy Buddy, JFK, Grass Harp, Out to Sea, and yeah, that was it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 movies they did all together. At least that we know of, but some of them, again, you can't find them. There were definitely more of these, but, hell, Grumpy Old Men, has a lot more people to it, but, let's see, in this one, as they were making it, Jack Lemmon was in his late 60s, Walter Matthau was just turning 70, and Margaret was in her 50s, and Burgess Meredith was 94.
Okay, because I was wondering how the hell old her character was supposed to be, because her hair was bright red, not sure if dye or not, and I'm just like, isn't she kind of young for them, but I guess not as much as I thought.
Well, I thought about that the same way too, but then when her husband died, and I'm like, okay, mid-50s, maybe 60s, so to speak.
It depended on the lighting.
True. I
How
know.
young or old she looked.
And I'm thinking, hell, wasn't it a Seinfeld episode plot?
Yeah, but the Seinfeld episode was, oh my god, she looked super ugly and horrible in certain lightings, and in other lightings, I'm not saying she looked horrible, it's just, you could see more, like, aging lines and stuff around the mouth.
Very true, yeah, you're right. So, and also, this one has, Ossie Davis, who plays the store owner, Chuck. He's supposed to be 94 years old, and he's done quite a bit of good stuff. Was actually one of my favorite people, on the, show that we don't really talk about too much, but it was on the Cosby Show. And this movie itself, genuinely funny, but I look at it, I'm like, okay, how could two people not get along but be so entwined in people's lives? In their lives in general?
Rivals?
Yeah, they're like, okay.
All I could think of is South Park with Cartman, like, frenemies.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, with Chef saying, well, Cartman's your friend whether you like him or not. Like that.
They're always, aren't they neighbors? They're neighbors. So.
Yeah.
And they've been, like, kind of rivals
since they were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, since they were really little kids. Since 1938.
Well, when they're fishing, the old photo of them as kids fishing together.
Yeah.
They seem to be getting along in there.
Yeah, at least it's that point. So, we'll get into the movie here. This was a $35 million movie released on Christmas Day, made $80 million. And I remember this from getting this from a video store.
This is the first time I saw it.
Yeah, I think it's been a couple of times. I remember it, and yet I'm blending the second movie in my brain a lot here because, like, the couple of pranks get enhanced a little bit more in the second movie. And particularly the fish.
Throwing a dead fish in somebody's car to make it stink.
Yeah, like the fish gets enhanced in the next movie. I won't say how.
Enhanced fish?
Yeah, but that joke
now they're
gets...
mutants.
Yeah. That joke gets stretched a bit, but, alright, so, let's see, Washaba, Minnesota here, retirees, Max Goldman and John Gustafson feuding next-door neighbors. Living alone, they spend their time ice fishing, trading insults, and pulling cruel practical jokes on each other.
I never knew ice fishing could involve a little mobile house.
Oh yeah, you gotta keep yourself sheltered from the winds.
I don't know, whenever I'd seen ice fishing on, like, TV before, it was just people crowded around a hole outside.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, wait, you could have a little porta-potty-sized house? Well, maybe a little bigger than that.
Yeah,
Didn't they have a TV?
Yeah, he had a little TV, a little comforts at home, and actually looked like he had pretty comfortable chairs, too.
What I don't get is why do you keep leaving his stupid pole alone? It's like, there's gonna be a fish that's gonna drag it in.
Oh, yeah, the lucky pole that he had.
With the duck on the end?
Yeah. I forgot what he called it, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, so they're pulling jokes on each other here. The rivalry irritates the friend Chuck, who's the bait shop owner, and Max's son Jacob, who's running for mayor. Now, dodging attempts of the IRS, Agent Elliot Snyder here has tried to collect a serious debt from John. John supports his daughter Melanie when she sees that, she's separating from her husband, who John never liked anyway. Mm. And her daughter, played by Daryl Hannah, and Daryl Hannah, who I just immediately pictured that this was her on her way to see Pai Mei. Her just to see
before she lost the eye.
Yeah, right. Just to see just before that, she's on her way to see Pai Mei, or fool. Maybe that's why she poisoned the fish heads.
Oh, because. But she never got fish tossed in her car. So.
Yeah, maybe that's why she poisoned the fish. She was sick of the rivalry too. So John and Max find themselves attracted to Ariel Truex, my weird favorite mermaid at this point. Free-spirited English professor who moves across the street in an old abandoned house. And Chuck has Thanksgiving dinner with Ariel, prompting John and Max to compete for her affection. And this one, it's funny when you see her, Ariel's played by Anne Margaret, and a similar one, she was in Viva Las Vegas with Elvis.
I don't remember much about it.
Yeah,
I reviewed it. But...
Yeah. That one, and it just kind of like a similar free-spirited style to me, and I wish Jocelyn was on this just to maybe enhance a little bit here,
But again, it seems like she comes in and she's being excessively cartoonishly wacky, she just walks into his set, which, can't remember who was who.
John Gustafson was Jack Lemmon.
Okay, she just walks in Gus's house and is like, oh, I stole your mail to find out more about who you are.
Yeah. 1:30 in the morning, can I use your bathroom?
Yeah, it just seemed a bit, try hard.
Yeah.
It made me think of that Dharma Greg joke from Family Guy. Look, I'm standing on the couch.
You can't do that. Why don't you try it? Wow, you really got a different perspective.
Yeah. And then I figured, oh god, is this gonna be something like she comes in and her wackiness make them two learn a life lesson and then she goes away? I don't know.
Well, they kind of set it up a little differely. I mean,
but it plays out it plays out differently. That's just my initial impression. She shows up okay, I think you should be more upset that she's just in your house doing stuff.
Yeah. Or later on, later on when she's making dinner for them, when he gets caught with the IRS, but they compete with the affections, when they find about the IRS debt, Max discovers what's going on, and John spends time with Ariel, revealing that he and Max used to be great childhood friends.
Well, Gus is, maybe not a running joke, but kind of a plot thing is that Gus, there's this IRS guy trying to collect payment or repossess his house or something for taxes, so whenever he shows up, Gus tries to go out the window.
Yeah, goes out the top window with a slant, and it's already, it's really well established that it's an extremely snowy area.
Oh god, yeah.
It's
like Minnesota.
Yeah, it's in Minnesota, it's stereotypical Minnesota.
And you even see the news forecast about how snowy it is.
Which the guy really looked like Gru from Despicable Me.
The one in
the meteorologist?
Yeah.
He immediately just looked like, I'm like, how the hell is this even a thing?
Oh yeah, your whole problem with, hey, here's the reporter standing in the...
Oh yeah, that pisses me off. That pisses me off in general. You have a meteorologist sitting outside or standing in the snow saying, it's really dangerous, don't go outside. We know.
No, look like green screen.
Yeah, we know that's really super dangerous. It's like, you're a meteorologist on TV, we trust you. And like the day and age now, I can understand like where it is because people were doing that in order to like, they do the stuff nobody wants to eventually get the anchor chair. I guess that's the establishment of it, but it's like with the day and age of technology, you don't need any of that. You don't need any of that. If you're in front of a green screen and going, hey, yeah, look, you see this from this camera? It's dangerous out. Don't go anywhere. Yeah. I remember there was a guy, was on a local news station. Snow was falling so much it went through the roof of the news station. You hear it off screen. You hear it, and just the meteorologist goes, "Yeah, snow just came through the roof. The roof is caving in. We need to go. Don't go outside." And I'm like, okay, like that says it all. None of that bullshit, Yeah. So I mean, we have that IRS plot, which is kind of interesting, but it doesn't really get totally explained. Until it's kind of too late.
Oh, yeah, then you find out about why he's in so much debt.
Yeah. He wasn't really, there's a lot of penalties and a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of issues here. But the funny thing with John Gustafson, how he keeps such an eye on detail. He can't really focus too much on a lot of things, but he also remembers the last day he had sex. Which I'm thinking about. The
exact date.
Yeah. When was the last time you made love? October 4th, 1978.
Well, his wife died, so...
Yeah. Right,
It was around then.
Yeah, he's been... Yeah, it's true, yeah.
Because that's... We later find out that's what started the rivalry, is they both like the same girl, but Gus married her.
Yeah. Yeah, and he had to have he found another wife, and he was Walter Matthau's character was happy with the wife that he had, but he can't wait around for another woman because his time's running out.
Wait, he had a wife?
Yeah, he eventually ended up marrying a good woman.
Oh, it's a little confusing.
Yeah, but he can't wait around for another one, because they both died early. But his first time he's had sex is 1978, but he even mentions it to Max's son, out of the blue, out of nowhere. I haven't had sex in 15 years. The actor who's playing the eventual mayor, they're just looking kind of like, what? Did you just...
Thanks.
I didn't want to know that. Like there's a series of emotions in like 5 seconds, totally nonverbal. It's great. There's... so Max is jealous because, he was dating Ariel for a little while, and he's jealous and he drives John Shanty into thin ice, which is a fucking weird ass scene out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, he's mad because I think he found out that they had sex.
Yeah.
And there's a conflict prior to that about them being too scared to approach her, and so when they see Chuck go up to her, who claimed he was going to the VFW.
The VFW for Thanksgiving, yeah.
And then they see him get out of his car and go into her house. They're like, oh no, we're too late.
Yeah.
And I think that's what gets them kind of going to try to pursue her.
Yeah.
Oh, and Chuck died.
Yeah, Chuck dies.
And I was just kind of hoping it would take a weird, sharp turn, where it turns out they think she might have murdered him.
Right.
But no, nothing like that. I went into this blind, so.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to kind of be like, say stuff like that.
Yeah, kind of good that you did, because it did give me a lot of thoughts on this. Where you look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, and I've seen this, and I remember laughing with it, and yet there's a lot of nostalgia with this movie myself, that I can remember almost feeling the carpet in my grandparents' house. Watching this on a TV that had doors on it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I think I'm guessing the thing with Chuck dying was to kind of also motivate them, like, you don't know how much time you have left.
I think that was it as well, because when they have that sea shanty fight and they're going back and forth, and you kind of
fight.
Yeah, well, yeah, with when Max puts the truck up to the sea shanty and he pulls in the thin ice.
Oh, you're saying shanty, like shanty house. When you say sea shanty, I picture like pirate songs.
When they have
this
that
little shack.
Yeah, when they have that fight after, and you reveal,
so they start punching each other.
Yeah, and their rivalry, and where he almost stabs him with a frozen fish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm just thinking, oh my God, you're pushing his little shack into thin ice. This is attempted murder.
Right.
Dude.
Yeah, and everybody sees it.
And nobody. Yeah. Nobody calls it what it is.
Yeah, the funny thing is with this whole thing, it's like everybody sees it, everybody knows about this rivalry, and even the scene like when they're at the pharmacy earlier on and like they've got to one up each other.
Yeah.
With about symptoms, is like, oh yeah, I've got a really bad rash. Well, it's like, well, I've got something that'll make it look like you just have little warts. So they've got to outdo each other.
Yeah.
Rivalry. Yeah, but you think about it, like, everything's got to be a rivalry here.
Yeah.
Everything has got to be something. And, let's see, so...
Are we at the part where, Max makes, I'm just gonna call him Gus. Max makes Gus feel bad about, taking the girl that he likes?
Yeah, so, you're right there. So he confronts her, the source of the animosity is revealed. Max resents John for marrying his high school sweetheart. John explains that she was unfaithful and Max was happier with the woman that he did marry. But Max reminds John that he'll have nothing to offer Ariel once the IRS takes his house.
And also he says that at least you had, I don't know what Gus's first...
John. Oh, at least you had Muriel, I think, or their name was, I think.
Yeah, the girl that they both liked from high school.
Yeah.
He reminded, well, at least you had, I don't know, 20-something years with her.
Yeah. You had great years, you had good times, and, so he's like...
And I'm running out of time to, I guess, have that.
I'm running out of time, I don't have much time to do that again.
Yeah, therefore, I was kind of confused about whether Max had a wife already, because, that argument works better if he didn't have a wife, and therefore, John had already had his time to have that kind of thing, and then if Max never had the opportunity to have that, that would make his argument more, solid.
I want to say you're right, though, but I think it's better that it's a little bit flimsy because it shows that these two people could have buried the hatchet because it comes up later. Like, the kids are like, hey, can we talk to them and maybe let this die down or, like, call a truce for Christmas?
Yeah, because, John's son has a crush on Max's daughter. Yeah. So they kind of have a similar...
Oh, actually, you got that backwards. It's Max's son that has a crush on John's daughter.
Oh, well,
yeah,
like that kind of thing. Except she had already married a guy named Mike because the son didn't have the guts, I guess, to ask her out. So there's kind of a similar theme going on with them as there was with John and Max when they were younger.
Now, Daryl Hannah's character is Melanie Gustafson, John's daughter. She is married to a guy, Mike, who is played by Christopher McDonald. And Christopher McDonald is really, really good at being the asshole. And, he played the asshole in Adam Sandler's movie Billy Madison.
He didn't do a whole lot in this movie, though.
Yeah, no, but he only needed one scene. Like, immediately see him, you're like, yeah, he's a dickhead. Like, just right away. I'm sorry, not Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, where he played Shooter McGavin. And that, immediately, every time you see him, he's gonna be a jerk that has a little bit of money.
He didn't seem like much of a jerk to me. It seemed more like, he sees the son come and try to want to kiss her or something with the broccoli instead
with the broccoli because they didn't have a mistletoe.
So it seemed like Mike kind of wanting to shoo him away was, legitimately kind of like, here's this guy trying to crowd in on our relationship.
Right, and also I think he, you're right, but I think it was implied too that, they had a conversation with John and Melanie had a conversation earlier about him being tied up and, where...
they were having a separation, but Mike came to her and said he'd worked his shit out.
Yeah, but it already implies that he's not a great guy. And then you see Christopher McDonald, I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's an asshole. This guy's an asshole here, really. Where you have so John feels really bad for Max, and he ends his relationship with Ariel.
It reminds me of the whole I don't need you, go away.
Yeah.
Dump her on the highway.
I need you, this is terrible. And Ariel then warns John that he'll regret the risk he did not take in his life.
That's like the central theme of this.
Right. Yeah, which I think that's why it resonated so much. Because, on the time we're gonna release this, it's the 30th anniversary of this movie. Oh. And I think why it resonates so much is because it's a central theme of humanity.
Yeah.
That, we all don't want to have regrets in life. I have a family member who, I won't say who because he does listen to the show, but he always wanted to go to Italy. Oh. And always wanted to do that, and then when, we went to Italy on our honeymoon, he's like, oh, I should really do that, and now he has medical problems and he can't do that long flight, and he has to deal with the fact that it never happens. Mm-hmm. Or it's never gonna happen, so it's like, it resonates there because when you do get to that stage in life, with, getting the girl or other stuff or financial stuff or anything else that you want to be said, you don't want to look back and go, damn, I should have done that, when I had the chance.
Yeah.
It resonated with me, too. So Jacob is elected mayor and Max continues...
Oh, that's the son's name.
Yeah. Max continues courting Ariel, and on Christmas, Melanie comes to visit. John is upset and learns that she had reconciled with Mike.
Oh, well, Jacob came to...
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone's being a jerk, it's not so much Mike, but it's, shit, I keep confusing.
John.
I'm really tired.
Yeah. No, it's okay, I got it. Yeah, John Gustafson.
John just went off on him, kind of unprovoked.
I think it was also bottled up a whole bunch of stuff, because the scene before that, he's trying to get out of his car, he sees, Max with the girl, he's like, we kind of had a good thing going for a little while. Which, by the way, there was a really funny thing earlier where they're talking about, he's like, I haven't been with a woman in so long. It's like, well, when's the last time you had sex? October 4th, 1978. I think we're safe.
No, because everyone knows that old guys can still get people pregnant.
Yeah, the older ladies can't know. True. But I think it was what we know now, that's not funny, but at that time, like, okay, that's kind of a funny joke. And...
Is there a menopause?
I guess so. At some point, it doesn't work.
All I know is I've heard about old guys getting ladies pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's the funniest thing ever. Just the YouTube reading of comments where pregnant is misspelled, like Bergante and Greg Mann. Bergant. It makes me laugh every time. But
it's true, audience. It really does. It makes her almost like fall over. It's funny.
Not on my knees, but
you're like on the side. You're like, I don't know.
My face hurts from laughing.
I know.
But yeah. Use a condom, even if you're old.
Yeah.
But sex. I think, I forget who. Oh, John, I feel like he wanted to set up his daughter with Jacob.
Yeah, at least to do something. I mean, there's funny...
Despite,
Yeah.
That would bring their two rivalry things
But
together.
It's put up as kind of like, it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet thing.
Yeah, except they're not stupid kids who killed themselves.
Right, but it's sort of like that, okay, the two houses that hate each other. And
except the houses are just like one guy.
Yeah, right, right. You gotta kind of wonder what the two wives are doing, like, they're just kind of looking like these two at it again.
But there's no wives in the picture anymore.
Yeah, but what they did before that, what they did, they're like, why are you here? Why are you here with that? And so...
I think they just like pranking each other.
Yeah.
Like, when the lottery's on and, John...
Max does,
Max is trying to watch the lottery number results, and then...
Oh, you reversed it again. Yeah.
Damn it!
That's okay, yeah.
John is watching the lottery numbers, and then Max is... It shows that they're neighbors, and he uses the remote through the...
To switch the channels.
How did that work? Did he get into his house, steal his remote?
I think that was because it was the time you had the cable boxes started to rise up.
Or does it respond to, like, any remote of the same brand?
I think that was it, because I used to do that when I was a kid. I had a cable box in my room, and then my parents had one there in the living room, so I used to angle it correctly, and used to angle it right. I put a mirror on the front porch that joined there, and I used to change the channels sitting in my bed.
Oh, God.
For that, they're like, why does the channel keep flipping? My dad would flip out.
You've done that to me sometimes, using your smartphone on the smart TV.
Yes, I did. I forgot about that.
Your butt.
I've done that, yeah. I've done that, so...
What I thought was going to happen here, perhaps, is...
Oh,
he's got all the numbers. He's just waiting for that last number, and then bam, the channel changes, and he never figures out if he won that millions of dollars.
Yeah,
I don't think it went that far. It was more like, "What the hell's going on?" March over, yell at him.
Yeah, when they turn around, he's got the window open. He's like, stick your head and apologize. And John's sprays the hose right at him.
Oh, that was good retaliation. Yeah, 'cause Jacob doesn't see why they're fighting.
Yeah, no one really does. No one really knows, really. I mean, at this point,
I kind of think the John and Max are kind of having fun with each other.
Yeah.
By being jerks. Calling each other names.
Yeah, like the first thing you hear in the movie, you hear
like moron and putz.
Yeah, like, good morning, dickhead. Good morning, idiot. Like, you're right. I think they're just the grumpy old men that just really like ribbing each other.
Yeah.
They really just like ribbing each other, and it's like they're, in a way, it's like their longest friendship.
You were friends all along, just it's like the whole, hey, there's a kid in love with the girl next door, but he hasn't realized it yet, except for old guys and friendship.
Right, yeah.
Until later on when at the hospital scene, we'll talk about that.
Right, when we get to that, like, that's where that's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
First, I like how, Gus puts it in, I think it's Christmas Eve.
Yep.
That's when he sees Max, he puts the idea in his head that she might not like him, because he's been kind of friend-zoned.
Right,
that she might not like him purely on his own merits, and just as kind of a fallback.
Yeah.
Rebound.
Yeah.
Thing, and I guess he lets him know that he gave her up for him.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, well, they're at the bar, they're at Slippery's, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and you can tell that Max suddenly seems really insecure about that now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's looking like, what the hell? What do you mean? What, seriously? No, she loves me. She loves me. And, where they, they're leaving Slippery's, which actually is interesting. That's one of the only places that's actually in Wabasha, Minnesota.
Oh, that's a real place?
It's a real place that they advertised.
Nice.
Yeah, so, I mean, but they're trying to get them to reconcile, and, at least for the dispute, the kids are trying to get there, so Max, follows John out in the snow, but John had suffered a heart attack. And, a good line there, he looks up, "Hi, John, oh my God, John, Gustafson, are you dying? I don't want to die looking at your ugly face." I'm like, okay, that's pretty good.
but then Max runs into the nearest house shouting that they need to call 911 and help him.
Again, like a little bit out of time, I think looking at it today, people are like, "Oh my God, I hope he had a cell phone or like a consumer cellular phone or something." No, they don't have that. That happens.
I don't think it makes a difference to the story, because if he'd had a smartphone, I don't think in the middle of a heart attack, John would necessarily be able to make the call.
No, Max, if he had one or
something.
Exactly.
I mean, it's more traumatic if he runs into somebody's Christmas party and yells for help.
Yeah.
But he still could have got in contact, saved John.
And I did some research on it. This is just before Life Alert as well. So, I mean, nobody would have any of that, too. And at the hospital, Max checks in and is trying to figure out, he's like, "Oh, where's John Gustafson's room? I want to see John Gustafson."
The nurse says, "Are you friend or family?"
Yeah.
And he just pauses for such a long time.
And this is my favorite scene because of Walter Matthau's acting without even saying a word.
Like, he's really thinking about it.
Yeah, like, wait, look.
A little too long, because it's like, come on.
I'm his friend. But it just, that contemplation, where he's looking and realizes, like, oh yeah, I guess we are friends. Like, that's the longest friend I ever had, and I hate him. Or doing things like, backing up with one of the pranks, like with, John putting, like, Max saying to John that, he never catches any fish, he's probably just lying.
Oh, he says that he throws back the ones he's not going to eat.
Yeah, I'd only take the ones that I eat. So,
and Max thinks that's just an excuse for being a crap fisherman.
Yeah, you just suck. You just suck in general.
Max had a whole bunch of them on a string.
Yeah, and then he just, he throws, John throws a fish in the back of Max's truck.
Yeah, at the beginning, setting up the whole fish exchange thing.
Which is a really weird thing. He's like, "Oh, pew.
What's that stink?"
Yeah, I have never heard anybody say pew except in a cartoon.
Like, Pimento University?
Yeah, right.
Or a joke about stinky church seats?
Yeah, I have never heard anybody actually say it. And accept this movie, but never in real life either. So do that. And,
But yeah, he eventually finds there's a dead fish rotting down near the seat.
Yeah.
Down to the base of the bottom of the car, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And just as John drives by and laughs at him.
Gustafson! That's pretty good. So, and they're at the hospital, he tells Ariel what's going on and reconciles with John as he recovers.
Although we don't know he's recovered yet.
Yeah. Well, Ariel is, there to try to, like, now she understands and they're talking.
That he was just kind of trying to push her away for the sake of Max.
Yeah. And Max tried...
Although, I mean, I would think she might be a little annoyed not being kind of...
Not talked to?
Yeah, or just being allowed to make her own decision.
Right, Yeah, I mean, she has that you're right, she has that free-spiritedness, at least compared...
Not a trophy to be passed around, but...
Yeah, but she has that free-spiritedness as compared to the rest of the town, like, where she has...
Oh, like when she's in that weird...
Yeah,
shack thing. I assume she turned it into a sauna, then she runs out in a bathing suit and rolls around in the snow.
Yeah. Yeah, but everybody in town's talking about her. And this is set up as a town that is somewhat on the conservative side.
I guess. It's not full of it's just regular people.
Yeah.
They're not particularly stuffy. They're just not eccentric.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Although I would say John and Max are kind of eccentric, playing their juvenile pranks on each other.
Yeah.
And,
true. Yeah.
John tried to escape the IRS through an open window.
Yeah.
Oh, did we talk about that whole you can't earn the money thing?
Yeah, was about to get to it.
Because I remember after the hospital scene, isn't the hospital scene after that the people at the church?
No, not yet. It's getting there, but where Max is going toe to toe with the IRS agent to try to help settle his debts.
All I remember is the church scene. They set it up to look like a funeral, but then it's a wedding.
That I remember watching it, and you gotta think, listeners, this is like a monoculture type of a movie that it couldn't have been played, and I saw it, and I'm like, I kind of forgot about it, but then I remembered it, because I remembered the bloopers later, and, I'm like, okay, I remember this, and, but I remember that and thinking, oh, this is a bait and switch.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, they're setting it up to make it look like John died. So that's why I thought it fought in my fuzzy memory, because we watched this on Friday.
Right.
I thought it came right after the hospital, so it would make you think that he died.
Yeah.
Because there's, people milling around outside a church wearing, heavy black coats.
And even the kids
there's
are
a lady crying as she walks in, and then I'm, thinking, this is probably a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Maybe it turns out to be a wedding. Maybe it turns out to be the old guy.
Max,
No.
It's John.
John's dad?
Yeah.
I thought, maybe it's him? Maybe he's dead? But, it is a bait and switch.
Yeah, that you found that, but when they're looking about it, because what I thought it was because they're explaining about the debts. He owes $13,000.
And then Max says, we can get the money for that.
Yeah, but the penalties, it's over $50,000.
Yeah, $57,000.
Yeah,
while he was on pension benefits, his wife had a part-time job, and he didn't count that, and the IRS is
Yeah.
No, he couldn't have gotten all those benefits.
Yeah. But there's a good seize, using his son, using his son as who's now the mayor, he puts a 30-day seize on doing anything with the house.
Oh, yeah, after barricade.
Yeah.
Is it Max that barricades the door?
Yeah.
With wood?
Yeah. You can't, how's that going to stop me? But then also puts the
dead fish in the IRS car.
Yeah. But seeing Walter Matthau do that in general, because it's I thought about this.
He learned from his frenemy.
Yeah.
This trick.
Yeah, but you know what actually makes me think of him more of a cartoon? He's got burnt eyebrows.
Oh.
Where I looked at it, it was I see this, it's like Bert and Ernie got old.
Oh, God.
Where they see that, and it gives me a thing on fantasy casting, because I've kept very quiet on one that I think would be really funny.
Yeah.
But I would want to see that. So, when they throw the fish in the car, and he buries the agent in snow.
Oh, yeah, that was another
Yeah.
trick. I forget which one was trying to pull it on which. Something about firing a hose at
well, they're gonna fire
accumulated snow on the roof and timing it so it melts and slides off.
Right. Yeah. So you do that. You put warm water on the slant of the roof, so that way when the sun hits it at the right angle, it melts all the ice and the snow slides off.
I have no idea how they were supposed to time that to the second.
Yeah.
Because Jacob shows up and Max is like, no, don't stand under it.
Yeah.
Without trying to say that what's going to happen.
Yeah, but he buries the IRS agent. You think he would have been arrested right then and there.
Well, he couldn't have proven it wasn't just...
Yeah, but you see them, Anne Margaret is looking and kind of I like that, because they cut back and Anne Margaret's kind of laughing, and Walter Matthau's trying to grab her arm.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody caught that, but in 4K, you can look at it and go, okay, yeah, this is a gaffe right here. that they're trying to figure out. But spring arrives. There's a block on seizing the property, but John and Ariel get married. But what was one of the tip-offs as well that this might not be a funeral? The dad, played by Burgess Meredith,
he shows up.
Yeah, is there.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so he's not dead.
Yeah.
John could still be dead. I'm so confused, though. I thought, I don't know, I thought it followed the hospital scene.
Yeah. Sort of did, but it just, you didn't see, I said after the seizure, temporary, trying to seize the property.
Oh.
I think there was a little bit of hospital scene with Ariel and John.
Oh, saying
that
somehow they got the fees waived? Or...
Yeah. Well, yeah, they got the fees waived, and then, where they find that is, as a wedding gift, Max informs John that he and Jacob paid off his debt, so he keeps the house.
Yeah.
But Ariel is now married to John, and...
They go off in their limo.
Yeah, they go off in the limo, but they find there's a fish still in there.
Yeah, they're like, what's that smell?
Yeah.
Oh, you!
Yeah.
Max is like, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, Max...
Friends forever, dead fish friends.
Max leaves to find his own date as Jacob had officially divorced, and as Jacob and officially divorced Melanie begins a new romance with each other.
Yeah, Jacob and Melanie.
Yeah, and that one, I think that was kind of the lead off, because I think if they pushed that was a studio gamble, because next week we're going to go into Grumpier Old Men.
Yeah.
And Grumpier Old Men, which the majority of people come back and reprise their roles.
Yeah, that was another reason why I figured it couldn't be a funeral.
Yeah.
Because
you knew, yeah.
I knew there was a sequel, and it probably wouldn't work without the two mains.
Yeah. I like it, but, I think one of the things that's worth it is I always get annoyed with this trope of seeing bloopers at the end of the movies.
Yeah.
Especially in movies around this time, but this blooper reel is pretty damn funny.
Mostly Burgess Meredith saying hilarious euphemisms for fucking.
Yeah, looks like he's gonna take his salami to Baloney Town.
Or, he's gonna put his hot dog in the bun. It's a little eye-rolling, but at the same time, it's like,
But it's just it's the...
Nice to have the creative freedom to let it ad-lib.
Yeah, but there's a joke in South Park with they do the redo of Cartman having a satellite in his butt.
The first episode.
Yeah. Well, they do the redo of it, and then it was something about it that, they kept doing that, and he kept sticking a finger in his butt, and then Chef's like, come on, stop being funny 5 minutes ago. And they do it twice more, and it's like, they do it twice more, and they go, okay, okay, now it's funny again.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It makes me think of TV tropes.
Yeah.
Overly long gag or crossing the line twice.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Where it gets so offensive that it's funny again.
Yeah, that just keeps going. It kept rolling, but at the very end of it, where you have, they're doing the scene and you see Walter Matthau supposedly watching it, and Jack Lemmon walks in right next to him and goes, who left?
Oh, that was a good one, where he's in the church watching the limo go away.
Yeah. And Walter Matthau just losing it. Just absolutely losing it. What the hell happens?
Fun surprise.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, that, I remembered watching that later on, and I think what happened was my grandfather distracted me.
Oh?
With something so I didn't notice what Burgess Meredith was saying.
Oh.
With all the other stuff, so...
Well, you already heard him use his euphemisms throughout the movie.
Yeah, but I mean, as, 30 years ago, I probably just didn't quite get it.
Oh.
So, then,
a hot dog in a bun, come on!
Yeah, but I think as the bloopers are playing, I remember that last one, and I remember seeing Walter Matthau laugh and seeing his teeth. I'm like, okay, I get this. I get where they're going. But that reaches the end of the movie, and remember, we have movietheatertimemachine.com. More to it, and as we go on through this year, we're gonna kind of retool the format of the show just a little bit.
Yeah.
We don't have the 4041 media ad anymore. And just ways that we do things, but also we are all gonna push a little bit more. But this does lead us to fantasy casting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll picture and going fishing.
Yeah, but you had a good one though.
Cartman?
What
if they were Beavis and Butthead? They're like, they're kind of like, they're frenemies. Butthead's pretty abusive towards Beavis, but they're also friends.
Right.
Whoa, you scored?
Yeah.
You scored.
It's gonna be the greatest thing in my life.
So...
It was that check across the street.
Max would be Beavis, I guess, because Butthead would be he's more dominant. He's the more dominant of the bachelor male pack.
Yeah, I'd say so. Although I could kind of see Beavis being John. I think, where it's like he would have the know-how to get away. There's something.
I thought Beavis was more of the clever.
Yeah.
Relatively.
Right, that's what I mean. He would have the know-how to get away, to crawl out and get around there.
Oh God, Mrs. Andreessen wants to give me homework.
Or something.
Well, they'd be old Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
The second revival.
Yeah.
Season. Sometimes they have.
It's genius.
Because there was a movie that explains how they end up in the present day through a time travel thing. So some episodes are Beavis and Butthead are still teens who were dropped into this world by a time thing that is never talked about again.
Yeah.
And then some episodes are what if Beavis and Butthead had, stayed and aged.
Yeah.
Normally. So you have old Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
It would be them, except they are gross.
Yeah. I think older Beavis and Butthead, what gets me is they're supposed to be in their 40s.
Oh, that's a hard 40.
Yeah, realizing, when Beavis and Butthead first came about, it's like realizing now, I am the canonical age of Homer.
Canon doesn't mean shit in the seasons.
Right, but it's like they're eventually going to age him up, so I was the canonical age of Bart for a little while, and now I'm the age of Homer. I'm like, ugh. But I had
I thought Homer was 35.
He was 35, and then they aged him up to 39.
Just don't talk about the timeline, Simpsons. If you talk about the timeline, then you end up with weird shit, suddenly dumping young Homer in the 90s.
Yeah.
Where he likes hip-hop.
Yeah, that was really disturbing.
No, it's some kind of vague 70s period. Don't talk about it.
Right, yeah.
Don't make us feel super old.
Yeah, you want Barney to still have a decade of detention.
What?
Okay,
I forgot.
So,
not be into weird animatronic Chuck E. Cheese knockoffs.
Yeah.
And make them play hip-hop.
I see that. I like the Beavis and Butthead one.
Oh?
A lot. You just see that.
Oh, as a fantasy cast?
Yeah, fantasy casting. I like that. Where he calls them Putz, you'd easily call him Butt Munch.
Yes.
Morning, Butt Munch.
Morning, dickhead.
Except they would not end up with Eddie. They would not end up with Ariel.
Yeah,
because they're both
who's that chick across the street?
I don't know. She moved in Stewart's old house.
I guess they would just end up lonely old men living in the same house at the end, having learned nothing.
Right.
And maybe Butthead just punches Beavis.
Yeah. Right.
You never scored.
I have one that...
Unless it's one of those endings where Beavis and Butthead get crushed and die.
Right.
That's happened a couple times.
Yeah, I have one for fantasy casting that if it was an older movie.
Huh?
And you have Jimmy Stewart and Cary Grant.
Ooh.
And so with the two of them, and Jimmy Stewart is Walter Matthau. Just to hear him say, "Good morning, dickhead." Like, I just...
That's a little harder to visualize,
but where you have the two of them going at it, because they always add a little bit of a rivalry.
Didn't you ask someone in an interview about that, and they were like, "What are you talking about?"
No, I didn't. No.
Oh,
No, but there wasn't really like a big drawn-out rivalry itself. Like, they just never really crossed each other. But it was cinematically
They were competing in the same job thing.
Yeah, well, it's like certain roles would have been better or others, and, like, it always irritated Cary Grant that that Jimmy Stewart got more awards than him. Well, it should have been him, it should have been that. That's my fantasy casting for that.
Well, what would they do? Hey, instead of trying to shove them in the ice, how about some elderberry wine?
I think there would be a great bit from, like when they did the Philadelphia story, where the two of them had a little bit of a rivalry. That was like one of the only times, as I understand, they were both on camera together.
Oh, you mean that movie that was so boring? We crapped out halfway through, and we're like,
changed it.
We're doing a different movie.
Yeah, but there was like Jimmy Stewart's thing, like, "This is the voice of doom." Which is still one of the, out of context, is one of my favorite Jimmy Stewart lines. In general, I think it would just be it would just be funny to see those two in these roles. And just to do that, especially Jimmy Stewart older, who could kind of, maybe he would
Rear
be the
Window?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he would play good with the Jack Lemmon style role, and Walter Matthau could be a pretty good Cary Grant.
Yes, I can't necessarily separate John and Max's characters. They very... I don't know if anything really distinguished them.
That's why I think it worked, too. There were rivalries, but they were so similar.
That's why I wanted to say South Park, but that's more of a comparison of relationship rather than... I guess if you would need two Cartmans.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I would say, Yeah, you're right.
I'm thinking Spy versus Spy, but I don't know enough about that to make any good jokes.
Yeah, Spy versus Spy to me, I only saw the shorts on Mad TV for that. But I think
two equally grumpy old men.
Yeah, but it's a fun movie, and for me, it was a really fun one to watch again. I think Grumpy Old Men, as I remember, and
I don't want to know too much of the plot, so I can...
No, I won't. Okay. But, but what I remember is, some of the stuff is enhanced a lot more. Is enhanced. Yeah. Fish. Yeah, they take the jokes a little further than I remember, which is definitely different, but I think when
Home Alone traps?
Yeah, but when I think so.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think so, and
I'm not sure where the plot can go if they kind of made up. Unless they encountered someone worse and joined forces.
But I remember laughing a lot with it. But, it is good because we are going to explore those, this one, Grumpy Old Men, and both the Odd Couple stories that they did. So,
you know what else I thought of?
Yeah.
The father, Burgess
Meredith, yeah.
I just kept thinking of that episode of Pete and Pete with Rolling Thunder. Spanky. Except that dad, grandpa, whatever, wasn't, pervert talking about sex all the time. And now he wants to bang everybody.
Son. Like, it
wasn't like that, but he did cause a division between the brothers, Pete and Pete.
That's true.
When they were fighting over the bowling ball. So now Aunt Margaret is a bowling ball with a red wig. And the Pete brothers are Max and John, except even worse because they have to share the same house. And they'll have a staring contest instead of throwing dead fish at each other because
they stare so much they start seeing their heads as fish.
Yes. Right? Yes. Yes. But they don't get to keep the bowling ball again. Unless one of the Pete's ends up marrying the bowling ball with the wig?
What if it ended up that the dad, the Burgess Meredith role, ends up being Artie, strongest man in the world?
No, he would be the dad from that the grandpa from that episode.
All right, okay.
They both have the white hair and black glasses, and
they're
like super old and.
Yeah, Bridges. I think John Bridges. I think his name was. Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember him calling Don Wrigley Spunky, treating him like a kid.
Yeah, my name's not Spunky. My name is Dad.
Oh my god, that would be. In the end, Pete and Pete, like in this movie, well, they learned to get along again. Although they weren't rivals.
Yeah.
Previously like that.
Right, yeah.
They were friends.
Yeah.
Like regular friends who are related, but are you just picturing a bowling ball with a red wig? How would Rolling Thunder Ariel roll down the street with all that luscious red hair?
Well, I mean, she was riding around on the snowblower.
Oh, so
the snowmobile machine.
Just a snowmobile machine running around at like 1 a.m. Just a bowling ball. It's haunted. And then later, the Pete that doesn't get with the bowling ball ends up meeting Christine the car.
Oh God. Oh, damn, yeah.
God.
No, I'm just thinking of my rare bits of, like, Minnesota trivia that I know.
Yeah.
You know, like, one thing is, like, there's a hotel that was owned by the company I used to work for.
Yeah.
Like, the big...
You been to Minnesota?
Yeah, Minneapolis.
Oh.
Yeah, in Minneapolis, but there was, the W... one there, but there was the big claim to fame was that it used to be the headquarters to the mafia.
Huh.
And I'm thinking of like what a Minnesota mafia would look like.
Yeah, I usually think New York or Chicago.
Yeah, but like a crime boss was like, the head of the Minnesota mafia was
you're
at
just
this
thinking
hotel.
of Bobby's mom?
Yeah.
Is that a Minnesota?
Don't you know? Yeah, kind of, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, kind of, but I mean, it's still, I don't know. It's, but that's my fantasy casting in general, yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of interested in knowing, more, kind of seeing what you think of the next one.
And then we'll go back to The Odd Couple, which I still wonder why you didn't start with that.
Yeah, because it's going to make more sense in reverse. So just trust me on it.
Alright.
Seeing that. But we are going to go to The Odd Couple, which is the...
After Grumpy Road.
Yeah. But that movie is the closest to the Neil Simon original play. Which starts out a lot more freaked out. Like, the first couple scenes kind of disturb me a bit. And then one I've never seen is the sequel to Odd Couple, which is,
Odd Couple 2?
Odd Couple 2, which is, set in the late 90s where they haven't lived with each other in a while, but they need to take a road trip.
Oh, a road trip movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's gonna be real interesting, at least to see, because I've seen almost every version of Odd Couple. I love that story.
What about the TV show in the 80s, that revival thing?
Yeah, I've seen it all, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I've seen that version too, yeah. But I love that story in general, so I mean, it's still, but this is, salute to Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, which, I'm hopefully gonna get it up on the social media. I think Jack Lemmon's tombstone is one of the funniest tombstones ever.
Why?
It says Jack Lemmon in. And that's it.
Okay.
But basically, like, it's an open credit to a movie. Alright, so, I mean, that one, basically does it for, Movie Theater Time Machine, Grumpy Old Men. We'll see you all next week.
With grumpier old men.
We'll see you next week, so be good, take care of yourself, but don't be too...
Is it two angry men? It's about a trial? Oh, God.